What's going on, Stim Junkies? High Stim Ace here. I hope you guys missed me. I know it's been quite a while since my last video, the Hooligan V7 review that I did drop on Saturday last week. It's been a long time since my last video, but I've been busy. If I'm being honest, there's been a lot of things happening in the personal life of High Stim Ace, a lot going on behind the scenes, a lot of stuff at work. I've been a little bit sick, sprained my wrist. I've been dealing with a lot of craziness over the past 5-6 days, but no matter what, guys, High Stim Ace will always be here to bring you the latest reviews and the hottest videos for the hottest drops of 2024 and for many years to come. Today's video is going to be an epic ranking for one of my favorite companies on the planet, Dark Labs. That's right, guys. My good friends from Poland who release some of the best, most illicit, high stim slappers on the planet. Guys, there's no company like Dark Labs. I love Dark Labs, easily my top 3 favorite companies of all time, and I'm not exaggerating when I say it. So for today's video, I'm going to be ranking all 14 Dark Labs pre-workouts that I have taken over the last 3 years or so. Now, obviously, there's not going to be every single Dark Labs product on here. I'm strictly ranking the pre-workouts, so there's not going to be any fab burners in here. You're not going to see Dark Labs Ripper or Adrenaline, no capsules, nothing like that. There are 2 that I am not a fan of that are at the bottom, and pretty much the other 12 I'm a fan of, but I'm going to be working my way up, starting at the bottom, going all the way to the #1 spot. And guys, you don't want to miss this one because there's a lot of crazy hitters on here. I reviewed most of these products. I'm actually going to link each and every one of my reviews in the video description underneath this video, so you guys can click the description and watch all the reviews I did for most of these products. With that being said, guys, let's get to the ranking. And number 14, all the way at the bottom of High Stim Ace's list, is Crack Reloaded. I'm going to be honest, guys, I do not like this one. I've taken it a bunch of times. The very first time I took it was about a year ago. Then I took it about maybe 5 or 6 months ago. And I just ran it today at 2 scoops for the very first time in maybe 5 or 6 months. And I got to say, it did not sit well with me. I think this pre-workout works much better at 1 scoop. It could be considered a high-end, illicit-ish kind of daily at 1 scoop. You can pair it with a pump formula such as their Pimp, and you'll have a pretty good experience. But if you're taking this at 2 scoops, me personally, it gives me a very adverse negative effect. It makes me tweak, and not in a good way. I feel cracked out in the gym. My mind is all over the place. It gives me a very bad vibe, cold sweats, and just a negative overall state of being, and I don't enjoy it at 2 scoops. It takes away from the productive aspect of what should be a good pre-workout at 2 scoops, and it overall becomes a detriment to the workout. Now, at 1 scoop, this is a very solid option. It's way less intense, and again, if you pair it with a pump formula, it actually is a very good option, and you're going to get 40 servings out of it. So, Crack Reloaded is my number 14 spot, and once again, if you take it at 1 scoop, it's pretty decent. 2 scoops for me, it's not good. I'm not a fan of it. Next up, at the number 13 spot, the unlucky or lucky number 13, whatever you guys want to make of it, is Heroine V1, the original version with the DMAA and the crazy amount of yohimbine and alpha. Yo, man, let me tell you guys about the first time I took Heroine V1. I went in with my chest puffed out. I thought I was the man, and I thought I was going to crush that workout. Let me tell you what actually happened in actuality. I got to the gym after consuming the drink. 15 minutes later, I started pumping that chest, and I felt really good. Felt that alpha yo buzz, felt that DMAA buzz, and I was feeling in the zone. I felt great, euphoria, mood elevation. It was an amazing experience. Now, 30 minutes later is when it all went downhill. The cold sweats started coming in, the anxiety, the shivers, the cold sweats, and just feeling like I wanted to escape my own skin. At that point, I had to go downstairs to the locker room, wash my face numerous times, and just sit down and try to catch my breath for a good 40 minutes before even attempting to go back upstairs and get back into my workout. It was a crazy, scary experience, and I learned right then and there to put respect on V1 of Heroine. And ever since then, I've only taken it at half a scoop to 3/4 of a scoop, always paired it with a pump formula, and I sipped on it as opposed to actually chugging it. And it was a better experience overall, but man, that very first time I took it at a full scoop, it was an intense experience, and it was a scary one at that. So definitely not my idea of a good time. So now that we got the two negative experiences out of the way, we can move on upwards. Every pre-workout going forward is a positive experience for High Stim Ace, although some are obviously better than others, which is why I have this here in a tier list. So we got over the two that I didn't like. Let's move on upwards, and we're gonna go with number 12. At number 12, we have the now discontinued Crack Undead King. And I really like this pre-workout. This is a high energy, mental focused kind of pre-workout. Really enjoy it. A lot of people really hated on the flavor. They said it tasted nasty. It only comes with the sour gummy flavor, and it was a really limited edition release. I got lucky and I managed to snag myself 2 tubs on eBay for 60 bucks each. Really lucked out there, but I gotta say, man, this pre-workout in terms of flavor, it's nowhere near as bad as people were saying. People were seriously saying this is one of the most gag-inducing pre-workouts on the market. I think it tastes decent. It really doesn't taste nearly as bad as people say. But obviously, you guys don't care about flavor. It's all about the effects and how it hits in the gym. And I gotta say, it hits really well. Despite the label being super loaded and mega dose to the max, it's not an overly intense experience. I saw a lot of other reviewers and they said this was a crazy over-the-top experience to only take it at half a dose. And I've ran this one numerous times at half a dose, 3/4, and a full dose. I have no issues running this at a full dose. It gives me good, clean, consistent energy, really good mental focus. I would say that is the star of the show, and I do believe there is DMBA in there to really elevate and emphasize that clarity and that mental focus. But it's a good product, great energy, good mental stimulation, and not a lot of negative side effects. I definitely enjoy this one, and that puts it at number 12 on the list. Next up, number 11, we got Heroine V2. The reformulated version of Heroine, which in my opinion is a massive upgrade to V1. They reduced the amount of alpha-yo in there. They did take out the DMAA and they put in DMHA instead, but to me this is a much more balanced formula. The thermogenic effect is still there. You're still going to have a good rush of energy, good fat burning effect. You're really going to be sweating in the gym and be dialed in, but it's not going to give you those cold sweats. It's not going to have you shivering in the corner, crying and not knowing what to do with yourself. Definitely a departure from V1. It's a more mellow experience, but it will still kick your ass and give you an amazing sweaty workout session. Heroine V2, an amazing upgrade and worthy of the number 11 spot on this list. At number 10, we got Flame V2. Now, I never got to try Flame V1, unfortunately. I keep hearing amazing things about it. Everyone says that is the best version of Flame, but I never got to try it. It's a little bit before my time. Flame V2 was my introduction to Flame, and I gotta say, it's one hell of a crazy, insane pre-workout. It's essentially a stim bomb, no pumps in there, great for stacking with different pump formulas, but this one is very aggressive. There is euphoria in there, but it's an aggressive euphoria. Good for when you want to rock out to some Metallica or Avenged Sevenfold or Iron Maiden or whatever the heck you guys want to listen to, but definitely an aggressive, in the zone, high energy kind of pre-workout, and also has you sweating and has you a little bit jittery, if I'm being honest. It's a very intense experience, but I like Flame V2. The only thing I didn't like was the flavor. My God, the flavor on that one is rough. And you know High Stim Ace doesn't really care much about flavors. I can tolerate most flavors, but man, Flame V2 was a notoriously bad flavor, especially the blueberry lemonade. That one was rough, guys. I'm not gonna lie. It induced a gag reflex a couple of times in the gym. I had to chew a piece of gum afterwards, and man, it was tough to take down, but once you did, you got in a good workout and a very memorable one at that. Great energy, clean, sustainable, good mood elevation, but aggressive with a lot of energy to boot. At number 9, we got Crack Daily. And this right here took everybody by surprise because Dark Labs released it. I think it's already been, what, 6, 7, 8 months? I don't even know. It's been a little while already, but man, this one's absolutely incredible. And their motto was, other people's high stim pre-workout is our daily. And they're not kidding about that because this one has a nice amount of caffeine, a good amount of alpha-yo, and it gives you such good, clean, sustainable energy, but without any of the negative side effects. There's no DMHA in there. There's no other illicit gray area ingredients, but it hits so nicely, just such a good clean source of energy, and it'll give you such a productive session, surprisingly good pumps in there as well, and it's something you could take guilt-free 4 times a week, even 5 times a week, and the flavor is really good, and you're getting, I think it was 30 servings if I'm not mistaken, so value for money, on point. You can't beat it, and from what I remember, it was only like 40 bucks, so really, Dark Labs did us a solid. They gave back to the community with the Crack Daily Pre-workout, one of my favorite daily use type of products, and one that's really, really amazing, guys. If you haven't tried that one yet, definitely get yourself some of that daily crack. At number 8, we got the European exclusive Crack Diamond, and this one right here was really a special one. I really enjoyed it. I'm lucky that Dark Labs sent that one out my way for review because it wasn't easily accessible in the United States. NutriCartel was able to get about 12 to 15 units, and they sold out almost instantly. And I think some people were able to get them from other websites, third-party websites, but it was very difficult to get this one in the US. They did rename the 2-amino isoheptane to Juglans Regia on the label, and it got people a little panicky. People were saying, oh no, is Dark Labs moving away from 2-amino? Is this that UK Juglans Regia, the nerfed version, the natural extract, if you will? But man, let me tell you, this Juglans Regia, 2-amino, whatever you want to call it, it slaps. Just as good as any other Dark Labs product does. And this one here was a very special one because it also included canna in it, which is an ingredient that kind of helps you with dopamine production and also reducing stress. And it synergized in such a unique way that really gave you such a great positive mood elevation in the gym. Not an overabundant amount of energy, but just enough smooth, clean, sustainable energy to last 2.5 hours. A nice relaxed sense of good, healthy well-being, a good mood elevation, and just gets you in the zone. Great to listen to with some techno trance music, really gets you in the zone, and it's a unique product. I would call it more of a medium stim type of product, something you could take like maybe 3 times a week, but super clean and enjoyable and productive. And that canna is something else. I really enjoy canna. It's not an ingredient you see in a lot of pre-workouts in this day and age, but I love this one. And I really hope Dark Labs releases something similar to this formula in the future that will be available in the United States regularly so people can get to experience this, because this was an amazing freaking pre-workout. Not to mention the label looks so badass. I love having this tub here displayed on the shelf above, because it's such a badass looking tub and I love having it. One of my favorite products from Dark Labs in the last year, Crack Diamond. Right up there with some of the best Dark Labs hitters. At number 7, guys, we got Crack Primal, the most recent version of Crack Primal, because they released Crack Primal initially and it was a good product. I liked it a lot, but Dark Labs wasn't too satisfied with the sourcing of the product and they kept the same formula, but they sourced the ingredients a little bit differently. They released the latest up-to-date version, which you can get right now. The version you will get now, whether you get from NutriCartel or darklabs.pro, will be that latest version of Crack Primal. The flavor has improved a little bit. It doesn't have any nastiness to it. It goes down really easy, and it really emphasizes the euphoria above everything else. You're going to get good, clean, sustainable energy, very minimal negative side effects, maybe a little bit of jitters initially, but they dissipate relatively quickly. And what's going to replace the jitters is a good mood elevation, clean, sustainable energy, a good sense of well-being, and really a nice, smooth overall experience. It's a very well-balanced package, and I really, really like it, man. Crack Primal, the latest version, really solid and worthy of the number 7 spot. At number 6, guys, we have Flame V3, the latest version of Flame V3. Now, when Flame V3 first came out, it was a little bit underwhelming, if I'm being honest. I had the first version, the first batch of Flame V3 that dropped, and it felt very underwhelming, especially compared to the aggressive nature of V2. It wasn't really up to par, in my opinion. Now, they re-released Flame V3 a little while back, and then they re-released it again with a new label, but the same formula, differently sourced, but man, this one is all about that euphoria. You guys want to be dancing in the gym. You want to be in another stratosphere and just have a good, positive mood elevation. Be happy and be pushing those sets and keep going and going and going, then Flame V3 is the product you got to get, guys. It comes in at a super light scoop. I think it's like 5 grams, 5.5 grams, super, super light. You can pair it with a pump formula because there are no pumps in there. Super versatile. The flavor has improved drastically from Flame V2. It's still not a good tasting pre-workout, but It's not nearly as gag-inducing as V2. It's a definite improvement, and the Euphoria is the star of the show. Clean, beautifully sourced DMHA, and freaking amazing all around. One of my favorites of this year, Flame V3. All right, guys, we're up to the top 5 right now. The top 5 Dark Labs pre-workouts as ranked by High Stim Ace. And this one here may be a little bit of an unpopular opinion because most people are going to rank this as number 1 or 2. I'm putting it at number 5. What I'm going to put at number 5, guys, is Crack Gold. Now, I want to preface this by saying that Crack Gold is an amazing pre-workout. Obviously, there are 14 products on this list, and this is number 5. So it's a good pre-workout. But if I'm being honest, I think Crack Gold is a little bit overrated. I had people telling me that Crack Gold is the best Dark Labs product ever made. I personally disagree. This is a really well-balanced pre-workout, really emphasizing energy and aggression above everything else. There is euphoria in here, there is mood elevation, surprisingly decent pumps, despite there being very minimal pump ingredients in here, and it is a really well-rounded package, but I think it's just a tad overrated. That doesn't go to say that it's a bad product by any stretch of the imagination. You're gonna get the job done on this one, guys. It's a very intense experience, but not as crazy as the other 4 that I have above this one here. Overall, I know that people rate this one as one of the legendary products, and recent batches people say have not lived up to the original batch or 2, the ones that had the real good source DMAA in there. It still claims geranium extract, but labels are just labels in the end of the day. You don't really know what that means. It could be a different source of geranium. We don't know if it's the real 1,3-dimethylamine that was in there initially, but overall, guys, you can watch the review I did on Crack Gold, the latest batch. I really liked it. It's a very solid experience, very high energy driven above everything else. But for me, there are 4 better pre-workouts, which we're going to get to right now. At the number 4 spot, we got the new Crack OG, the latest version that overtook the original Crack OG. Now, when I reviewed this one a while back, it's already been almost a year since I reviewed it. It's crazy to think how fast time flies, but when I reviewed this one initially, I had mixed feelings about it. I obviously knew that it was a good pre-workout, very high energy, probably one of the strongest pre-workouts, if not the strongest, in terms of raw aggression and strength in the gym. This is probably the strongest product that Dark Labs has. But I was a little bitter about the fact that they were discontinuing the original formula, the fact that they were taking away the DMAA from the original purple OG Crack pre-workout, and I was a little salty about it, if I'm being honest. And I feel like that may have impacted my review a little bit, and I think I even said something along the lines of, if I saw this on a shelf, I would probably reach for something else and not for this one. I gotta say, I was wrong about that sentiment because I've really made a full 180 about this one. I've ran this one numerous times since that review, and every time I've ran the new Crack OG, it's grown more and more and more on my list. Guys, if I want to get in a crazy, but I mean a crazy workout in the gym, I want to go for 2.5, 3 hours and just destroy the workout, I'm reaching for the new Crack OG. This thing, in terms of strength and aggression, it's on another level, guys. This is going to turn you into Superman. You're not going to feel pain on this pre-workout. Even if you're dealing with an injury or an aggravation or something like that, you're not going to feel pain. You may feel it the next day, but when you're training on this, you're going to be so hopped up and you're going to be so locked in and so zoned in that you're not going to be thinking about anything other than smashing those weights. This pre-workout is definitely not something you want to take regularly. I would say once every week and a half or 2 weeks for that real crazy session, high stim Saturday, high stim Sunday. I know people that run this at 1 scoop and they like it at 1 scoop. They actually say they prefer it at 1 scoop. I know a lot of reviewers like it at 1.5 scoops. Me personally, I like running this at 2 scoops, full dose. I'll pair pump caps or a very light pump formula on this one. Not that you need it because the pumps on this are savage on their own, but I like pairing a light formula or pump caps, like I said, and man, I'll be in the gym for 3 hours. I'm going to smash that workout, and I might regret it the next day. I might be sore and unable to get out of bed. But when I tell you that I had the best workout ever on this thing, numerous times, I ain't lying. So Crack the OG, the new latest version, is the number 4 spot on this list. At the number 3 spot, we got the epic collaboration between Dark Labs and my good friend Garage Gym Homie, my brother from another mother, Manako, the legendary pre-workout. And yes, I consider this a legendary pre-workout. I don't even know if you can get this anymore or not. It was a really limited edition run. They might have a second run. Who knows? But if you were lucky enough to get a tub, you understand why this pre-workout is at the number 3 spot. This here is a minimalist label. There are only 7 ingredients in here, but everything in here is perfectly dosed. It all makes sense. And you can literally read through the label and you can see how each one of those ingredients actually applies to your workout. You got the citrulline in there, you got the alpha-yo, you got the L-tyrosine, and you got the DMHA. And may I say, one of the cleanest, purest, most well-sourced source of DMHA that I've ever had in my life. What I like to call the good synthetic lab-made yum-yums that we all know and love. Because this right here is going to have you high as a kite and you're going to feel freaking amazing. Super productive pre-workout with great pumps to boot. You don't have to stack anything on top of this. Take this pre-workout. Flavor is amazing, by the way. I've only had the pina colada flavor. I didn't have the, I think it was mango strawberry or mango cherry. I didn't have that flavor. I've only had the pina colada, but one of the tastiest pre-workouts I ever had, surprisingly. And only 7 ingredients, no negative side effects, no anxiety, no heavy breathing, no jitters, none of that, guys. Pure euphoric bliss, great energy. The alpha is not overwhelming. It's a freaking masterpiece of a pre-workout. I freaking love it, and I do hope they bring it back. Manako comes in at the number 3 spot. Okay, guys, we're up to number 2 right now, and at number 2, we got Crack Barbarian. Yeah, guys, Crack Barbarian. This here is one of the most unique pre-workouts I've ever taken in my life, and I did review this one. You guys can watch the review. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm going to link all these reviews in the description box below. You guys can watch all these reviews and see what these products are all about if you want an in-depth look into them. But Crack Barbarian, this is such a unique experience. First of all, a lot of people crapped on the flavor. I think the flavor is decent. It only comes in the grape flavor. It's not a bad flavor. It goes down pretty easy. I don't see the problem. Now, the experience on this one is amazing. You're going to feel super floaty on this one, almost like an out-of-body kind of experience. You're going to be seeing yourself in third person, but it's almost like you're in another dimension. You're going to be going through those sets, through those reps, and you're not going to want to stop. You're going to keep wanting to push and push and push. And the beautiful thing about this product is that about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes into the experience, you're going to get a second wind. And that euphoria that you get 10, 15 minutes in, that initial wave of energy, euphoria, mood elevation that hits you at that 10, 15 minute mark, an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes in, you're going to hit a second wave and it's going to hit you all over again. And you're going to want to go for another hour and a half. It's crazy. I've taken this one probably close to 15 times at this point, and every single time it does the same thing. I don't know how that works. I don't understand it. I don't get the science behind it, but this thing is on another level. I love this pre-workout. I take it once or twice a month. I don't want to overdo it, but Crack Barbarian, guys, it's freaking amazing. There's nothing like it. I do believe it's available online right now on darklabs.pro, so you guys can pick it up and get to experience this amazing masterpiece and see what it's all about. Okay, boys, we're up to the number 1 spot. Let's get a little drum roll. Okay. Obviously, you guys know what the number 1 spot is, right? Just by method of elimination, you guys figured out what the number 1 spot is, right? The original, my favorite, Crack Purple, aka the true Crack OG. Guys, this is the one that started it all for Dark Labs. There is nothing like it. I've tried every variant of Crack, and people said, oh, this version's better, Gold is better, Barbarian's better. And listen, all these pre-workouts are amazing, okay? Dark Labs rarely makes bad pre-workouts, but the original purple DMAA version of Crack, it's such a perfect formula. And I know a lot of people say that 120 milligrams of DMAA is a lot, and it is, but all the amount of nitric oxide support ingredients that you have in there, as well as the beetroot powder and everything else, just the formula is so perfect. It synergizes so well. I've never had a bad experience on this one. I get such an amazing floaty euphoria on this pre-workout. I can take it and train for 3 hours easily. I'm not going to feel any pain. I'm not going to feel any negative emotions. No matter where I am mentally, if I'm going into the gym in a good mood or in a bad mood, or if I'm tired, if I had a long day at work, whatever, it doesn't matter. I take my 2 scoops. I always weigh it out. It may not taste amazing, but that doesn't matter. You chug it down, you go to the gym, you move on with your life. 10 to 12 minutes after chugging the drink, you're going to feel such an elated, amazing euphoria, mood elevation, sense of well-being. And it's literally like taking ecstasy. Now, I've never taken any products like that, but I can imagine that this is what it would feel like. This is just going to replace any negative emotions you have with the most amazing sense of well-being, happiness, euphoria, mood elevation, and give you amazing, clean, sustainable energy to boot. This one's a legend. There's no other way to say it. And there is a reason I got 4 sealed tubs of this product, because it is a legendary product. And unfortunately, it's gone. You can't get it anymore. Maybe there might be 1 or 2 websites somewhere in Europe that still sell it, but unless you get lucky on eBay, this is a discontinued product, and it's a shame because this one here was so special. The formula was so perfectly concocted, and there's nothing like it. This, to me, is the closest thing to the original Dark Energy pre-workout, and it's so sad that we can't get pre-workouts like that in this day and age anymore, but man, when I tell you that the original Crack, the OG, the purple tub, was one of the top 3 pre-workouts of all time, I'm not exaggerating. I would have to put it up there with Dark Energy and Excelsior as the 3 greatest pre-workouts of all time. Crack, the OG, aka Crack Purple, #1 spot, always going to have a special place in my heart. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. That was High Stim Ace's top 14 Dark Labs products ranked in order, the 14 pre-workouts that I personally got to experience. I know there was a couple missing from over the years, but I never got to experience those. So I ranked all 14 pre-workouts that I personally got to experience. And man, it's been one hell of a journey, and I can't wait to see what Dark Labs has in store for the future. They're always releasing quality products, so man, I am just glad to be here and be a part of it. If you want to pick up any of these pre-workouts, or at least the ones that are not discontinued yet, you can head over to darklabs.pro or nutricartel.com. I have discount codes for both, and I'm going to link it in the video description below, and I'm going to pin the comment. You guys can also pick up some badass merch, such as this hoodie, their t-shirts, and a whole bunch of other cool things they have over at darklabs.pro. Once again, guys, going to link all the information with the discount codes down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. You guys deserved a nice lengthy video after my absence, and I hope you guys like the video. Subscribe if you enjoyed it, and share the video with a fellow stim junkie. I will see you all next time for the next High Stim pre-workout review. Take care, everybody. High Stim Ace, signing off.